Hey, this is Mr. Drogemeyer. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to look at how we can take a set of data and create a frequency table and then a histogram. And so we'll start with the frequency table. We have this situation shown here where we have the number of cars sold by 10 salespeople in a month is shown below. So each salesperson's number of sales. And we want to first put it into a frequency table. And so we're going to start by creating some intervals. Um, so uh, Intervals are going to be just areas of data that we can classify these in. So for example, if I look at this set of data, my smallest value is 3, my largest value is 19. I need to have intervals that cover from that smallest value to that largest value. So in my table, I'm going to have the number of cars sold and then the frequency for each of those intervals. And I'm going to use intervals of 5. So from 1 to 5, then from 6 to 10, from 11 to 15, and then from 16 to 20. And so our intervals have to be have to cover the same amount of data. So I can't have one interval that's 1 to 5 and then another interval that's 6 to 15. Those are covering different amounts of data. We want them to be of the exact same length. And so then we're going to look at our data and see how many pieces of data fall in that interval of 1 to 5. Well, we have 3, 5, and 4. So we have 3 salespeople that sold between 1 and 5 cars. Then we want to look how many sold between 6 and 10. Well, I have 8, 7, and 8. So 3 that fell into that range. Then from 11 to 15, I have 12 and 12. So I have 2 in that range. And then finally from 19 to 17, I also have 2. So frequency table, the main things that you have to do, you're going to determine what your intervals are going to be. Remember that they have to be of equal length. And then you're going to find the frequency or how many times data occurred within that interval. Then we're going to take that information and we're going to use it to create our histogram. And a histogram is basically just a bar graph of this information that we have from the frequency table. So for my histogram, so I've set up the outline here of my histogram. I have my number of salespeople along the left side there, my y-axis. On my x-axis, I have the number of cars sold. And so for each of those intervals, I'm going to create a bar to show how many we had for that particular one. So from 1 to 5, we had 3. From 6 to 10, we also had 3. And we want our bars to be touching right up against each other. So that's also at 3. Mine's not going to be perfect here. They should be about the same width, if ideally, but it's not the end of the world here. Then from 11 to 15, we had 2. And then from 16 to 20, we had 2 as well. So our histogram is going to look something like this. And basically, again, just showing what those intervals would be. I'm going to clean this up just a little bit here so So we're going to make that one a little bit narrower, make this one a little bit wider. So they look a little bit more even. But so that's what your histogram basically looks like. Again, taking the data that we had from our frequency table. If I go back, it was 3 for 3, 2, and 2. I have those intervals along the bottom and my bars showing how many salespeople had each of those. All right, so that's how we create a frequency table in a histogram. As always, if you have questions, please let me know. Thanks.